So for page 34, one of the cool things about ASL is that they have what's called classifiers, and these are signs that represent the size of something or the shape of it or some feature about it. So when you're describing something, we would say, oh, it's pretty big, it's about the size of a quarter, it's about the size of a cat, or it's kind of rounded. We use like a lot of descriptive words like that. So in ASL, when you're describing something, then there's certain like shape of your hand, a hand shape that you would use. So the first one up here on page 34 is for small, flat, and round objects such as a coin, a button, or a watch. So it's kind of like this. Okay, like, oh, there was a coin right there. Or if you're going to say like, let's say that there's a table and then I have like a whole bunch of like coins laid out in a row. Okay, so I would go, oh, there was coins right here. Okay, so this is coins. And they were like laid out like that. So you'd be able to see like, oh, how they were placed. Or if I was telling you, I want them laid out like this, then you would know, oh, I would lay them out in, you know, going this way, and they would have like, they would all be in a row, you know what I mean? Like, or I could go like this, and you would be able to see how it's placed or how I'm describing something. Okay? The second one is kind of like two L's, but they're slightly bent. So it's like that. So this one is for flat and round objects such as a pancake, a small dish, a plate, or a hamburger. It's something that is like smaller. You know what I mean? Like it's not like big like this and round. It's something that's more flat. Okay? So it'd be like this. Small. So maybe I'm describing like the saucer on a cup, a little saucer, or a small plate, or the salad bowl was about that big, something like that. Okay? Now if you put them farther apart and you kind of like if you're like this, you might close your fingers just slightly so they're like closer, kind of like if you're going to make a circle. That's kind of the idea of it, okay? But if it's for larger, flat and round objects such as a large plate, a big steak, or a large petal, then it would be more like this. So if you're describing the steak on your plate, so you would talk about the steak and you would say, oh, it's about this big. Or there's a petal right there. Yeah. Okay, maybe more like this for the steak. But let's say you like went all out and it was mostly like bone and fat and it's about this big. Okay, or there's a big petal in the ground. Okay. Or it's over here. Or there's a small plate, it's over there on the table. And something like that, okay? Okay, now with the C. It's for small container-like objects such as a cup, a glass, a bottle, a vase, a can, anything like that. So you have like the same cup, or like take a drink. So cup taps twice, cup, it's a noun. And the verb would be drink from the cup, okay? And so if you're referring to my cup, then it would be a cup. If I'm referring to, and it would be just like this. Like if I was talking about how I picked up the cup, then I would like be like, oh, I reached down and I picked up the cup, like pretending you have a cup here, and set it over there on the table. Like if I'm telling you, okay, the cup right there, okay, you are going to pick it up and go put it over there on the table. You're going to set it down the table. Then you would be able to go, okay, so I'll take the cup, I'll put it over here, and then I'll set it down the table. So that's the idea of it, so I can show the movement or I can explain what's in my hand. So this could be a bottle, it could be a cup, it could be a can, anything like that.
And if you wanted to order a cup of, you know how you tell a coworker or whatever to get you from Starbucks a medium coffee, you would do the, or how would you?
If you were, this is more like what you would do with it. So you could tell them at Starbucks, Starbucks, like flicking towards each other, Starbucks. So your middle finger is like it's a good sign. I have no idea. I was like, why is this Starbucks? And nobody can tell me. It's just the sign Starbucks.
What's star?
Star.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you would think like something cool, you know, like, but this guy feels cool and looks cool, right? Okay, so like at Starbucks, I want a small coffee. Okay, and you could say, and then like if they have, like you're telling them like this is the cup of coffee, so bring it over to me. Or, oh, the cup right there on the table, can you give it to her? So you could do it like showing that. That would be how you do that. Okay? With 2 C's is for container-like objects such as a bowl, a large can, or a thick cable. So say you were going to describe, a trash can. It'd be like this, trash can. So you take it and you could set it down over here. Or you could say the trash, the can right there, move it over there. Or if I'm describing something, then I can talk about, like on Sunday they had like for candy donations, they have like the big things outside. So if I'm talking about, I would say the candy, if you want to give, then outside they have the cans. It's set up outside cans. So you would know like, oh, like this is a can. So you would kind of know, I'm not talking about a trash can if I'm talking about where you're going to put the candy, or I'm not, like if I just did this, you'd be like, okay, it's something kind of like cylindrical, maybe a little bit taller, maybe it's about this big, but you're not going to think, oh, it's a trash can, or it's a bunch of wires taped together going up. Like, you'd have to have the context for what I'm talking about. So I could say all the cables, they're like grouped together and they go up from here all the way up to the ceiling. So this like helps me in describing it, but this alone doesn't mean cables that go from floor to ceiling. It just shows it, it just describes it. So you always have to give the noun first, like explain what it is, and then you can describe it. Okay?
How did you do, I saw you say the candy,
Candy.
and you said did something here with the trash.
Trash starts here, like you're pointing like slightly closer to your wrist, to here. Trash.
So candy, trash,
So candy.
and trash.
Okay. So I could say in the candy, outside like the bin. Or I could say the trash can over there. Okay. Okay, and then it also has the same hand shape, but just a little slightly bigger apart. Would be for large container-like objects, such as a pail, a large bowl, a half box, something like that. So just like, oh, over here, or maybe it's smaller, something like that. So you could talk about a pole, so you would say the pole goes up like this. So you would kind of do the size of the pole going up. Or you could say the can, right there, or like the can. So it's kind of just like describing it. You want to fit it to that. Okay, page 35. It has the 2 B's. So your hand's shape is going to be like this. It says for objects with a flat surface, such as the top of a small table or a shelf. So if I was going to describe, let's say that there are shelves all along right here. So I would go shelf, shelf, shelf. I could describe it like that because it's like a flat piece. Or I could refer to this and I would be like right there. Or I could say on the table, like right there. I could refer to the floor. Spread out like that. Okay. So the other one just talks about, it could be for longer ones, like if you're describing like a longboard or a surfboard, a long shelf, a long table, a plot of land. I guess you could do that too. So, or it could just be like, oh, right there on the little surface of the table. It could be the whole thing. Okay, so let's do number 2, tortilla. How would you describe a tortilla with the classifiers we just learned? So look back at them. We know it's going to be something roundish. But it could be a big tortilla.
Yeah.
That's corn tortilla.
Flour.
That's what I was thinking, like corn flour, yeah. Okay, so tortilla. So it'd be like this. So it's not like this high, because we know like this is going to be something that's like flat. Okay.
Maybe a stack of tortillas.
You could do a stack of tortillas, but that would be maybe more like this. Maybe like a whole stack. Maybe I would show the tortillas, like a stack of them, like can you move it over there? Maybe I would use something more like this. There's actually a lot more classifiers than this, and ones that you kind of just end up like, okay, this is how I'm going to describe it. There's a lot of classifiers, but these ones will get you started. Okay, so tortilla, be something like that. Okay, number 3, a round mint. Like a little round mint. I also might describe it kind of like this. I don't know if I've ever really seen, maybe something like this, like I'm holding it up like if I was going to show you. I've never really seen it like this before. So that just kind of looks funny to me, but that's kind of what they're doing in the book. But kind of more like an F, like if you're holding it, you know. Or if I was gonna pick it up like this. If I was showing it, oh, like the minute I picked it up and I gave it to her, things like that. Okay, number 4, an unfolded map. What would you do? Okay, so we learned this one. Would we do this for an unfolded map? Yeah, so like the map is laid out. So I would say the map, lay it out. Yeah, so I can describe it. Or it's later on the table over there, laid out. So I can describe something like that. Okay, what about a platter? Okay, so is it going to be like this or like this? Because this means we're talking about something that's like thick. Okay, so this would be more like platter. Okay,
So would it be down or up?
it would be down like this,
Down
and
like
it would be like
Like an L?
like your L, yeah. Because it's not thick. It's not like a super
So
hefty
it's
thing.
not a cup.
Yeah, it's not like a cup, or it's not like a bigger, chunkier thing,
Okay.
taller. More like something thinner, flatter. Okay, what about a manhole cover on the ground? Yeah, kind of. It gets the idea across for this one, yeah. Okay. Okay, what about a bucket? Okay, look at the ones that we had. So we had this one, we had this one and this one, we had this one and this one, or we had this one and this one. So we know that this isn't, it's not like a little tiny like tortilla thin thing like this. We know that it's actually like, because it's like this, we know that it's something taller, you know? So you can move it.